Have you ever tried to pull open a door that's actually a push? You can strain against it with all your might, pull harder, get frustrated, question yourself, wonder why things aren't moving. And yet the whole time the door was never meant to open that way. The moment you stop forcing and apply the gentlest push in the correct direction, it opens almost effortlessly. And I think a lot of men are living like this right now. I know I have been. Trying harder, forcing more, pushing through resistance, exhausting themselves, trying to create a life that deep down doesn't actually feel aligned. David, William, Pearce, welcome back. And I work with men who are often successful, capable, intelligent men, but who quietly feel disconnected from themselves. Disconnected from their body, their relationship, their purpose, their joy. Men who know how to force themselves forward, but don't really know how to feel fully alive. And if you stay with me here on this video, I think something important might begin to make more sense, and how you can create an impactful shift for yourself. In tantric teaching, desire is understood very differently to the way most of us have been taught. True desire isn't seen as something shameful. It's not something to suppress or feel guilty about. It's something to listen to. Because Tantra teaches that beneath compulsions, beneath conditioning, fear, and social expectation, there exists something called Iksha Shakti, the power of will. Not willpower through force, but authentic desire arising naturally from your being. A movement that emerges before cognition, before effort and overthinking. The thing in you that genuinely wants to be expressed from a place of love, joy, an offering of something from within rather than an attempt to attain something from without. When we lose connection to that, life becomes exhausting because we start living from obligation instead of authenticity, from pressure instead of presence, from what he thinks she should want instead of what actually energizes them. And eventually that disconnection starts showing up everywhere, in work, in your body, in motivation, in intimacy. You may still function, you may still perform, you may still make it through the day, but underneath all of that, something feels flat. It feels heavy, like constantly pulling against life instead of moving effortlessly with it. One of my teachers has the equation desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. Put in the comments if you know who that is, who says that. And the older I'm getting, the more true that's beginning to feel. He's got, I think, a decade on me, so he's got that experience learning from him. Because I'm beginning to notice the difference between force and what I like to call effortless effort. That doesn't mean meaningful things never require energy. Running a 10K takes effort. Building a relationship takes effort. A business, even baking a cake takes effort. But there's a difference between effort that drains you and effort that fuels you. One depletes your nervous system and the other expands it. This week I organized a sunrise balloon trip over the Teotihuacan pyramids outside Mexico City with a live DJ set from a friend visiting town. There were logistics, planning, coordination, timings, problems to solve, people to shepherd, but the whole thing, despite the challenges, it energized me because the vision itself came from a place of joy. It wasn't forced. It was something alive within me that wanted to be expressed through me for the benefit of all beings involved. And I think many men have forgotten what that feels like. A lot of men are so adapted to stress, to pressure and survival that they don't even know what genuinely energizes them anymore. They know responsibility, they know performance, duty, but ask them what makes them feel deeply alive, what brings them joy, what excites them. There's silence. There's not knowing. There's difficulty in answering the question. Guilt, confusion maybe, because somewhere along the way, many of us have learned to distrust our authentic desire. And without that connection, men begin drying out psychologically, emotionally, and relationally. They lose polarity, and that affects the relationship that they're in. They lose their playfulness and direction and presence. They lose their playfulness, direction, and presence. And honestly, this is a huge part of the work that I do through men's transformational yoga. Helping men reconnect to themselves again, not through force, not through pretending to be alpha or motivational hype, but through meditation, through massage and movement, and through understanding the deeper patterns managing your life. So that you can stop living from pressure and start living from alignment. So if that speaks to something in you, head to the description for more information. So, Tantra teaches that true will emerges when consciousness rests in itself. When a man is fully present. When he is not trying to become someone else. When he is no longer abandoning himself internally. From that place, action becomes cleaner. Relationships become clearer. The body becomes more enlivened, virility, vitality, and life begins responding differently. You begin to magnetize rather than chase. Not because you're forcing reality harder, but because you're finally moving in the right direction. Head and heart coherence, as Joe Dispenza likes to say. So maybe the reflection this week for you becomes, where in your life are you trying to pull open a door that's actually a push? Where are you exhausting yourself trying to force alignment? And where instead do you already feel naturally energized and alive, expressed, and fully yourself? Be in that more and let that inspire you. Because those moments matter. They reveal something. They allow divine will to flow through us and provide the next step for us to take. It's not just about what you enjoy, but about who you are underneath the conditioning. A man's true power has less to do with domination in its healthy expression, more to do with congruency. A man aligned with his nature becomes magnetic, not because he's trying to impress her or the world or them, but because something genuine in him is finally moving through him again to be enjoyed for all involved. And people can feel that. It's attractive. So if this resonates with you, an invitation to sit with this reflection for a little while. Where this week did life feel heavy, or forced, or draining? And where does something feel naturally energizing and enlivening for you? Where did you feel most alive? And what might that reveal about the difference between force and true will in your life? My personal practice is to spend about 30 minutes a week writing a letter, answering the contemplation for the week. And I've been doing this for around 6 months now, and coupled with the practices in men's transformational yoga, it's making a big difference to the quality of my life. And I trust that it will do for you too. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next transmission. Cheers.